Well, welcome to Speaking of Horses. Today, we're going to revisit some of my favorite interviews over the last few years. So let's go back in time and catch up with some of these favorite interviews of the past. Hey, speaking of horses, we're here at the Virginia Horse Festival. And boy, I'm really honored to be sitting here next to Harry De Leyer. Now, Harry was the subject of a book years ago, and it is the $80 Champion. And Harry is with us. The horse was Snowman. And we got a movie coming out, got a lot of things. Harry, tell us a little bit about the history of you and Snowman and then how the book developed.
Well, it's very simple, really. I was looking for a school horse, and I went to New Holland, and I got a flat tire going on the turnpike. And the sale was over when I got there. And I saw Snowy on the van, and then I picked him, and I told him he looked like a nice, quiet horse. And I thought he would make him very good beginner's horse. And that's what he did. And there he went. And there he was champion of the United States in 58, 59, 60, 62, and 63.
5 years?
5 years.
5 years champion on the $80 Champion, the horse Snowman.
Yeah.
And you had Snowman till he was 30, right?
Till he was 30. And he's buried on my farm. And that put a few tears in my eyes. Then HBO come and they took a movie of it. And he was that close to me. And I want to thank every American person that I can get a horse. And there he is. And he was champion for 6 years.
Wow. Now, Harry, the book came out, when did the book first come out?
Well, in 1960, Rufus Montgomery came out with a book. And then there was Snowman, the Cinderella horse, was another book that came out right away behind it. And that was for little kids. Now, they're writing all new books, and I cannot keep track of it. I just a farm boy.
But this book is the $80 Champion, Snowman, the horse that inspired the nation. Now, this one was written by Elizabeth Letts.
Yeah.
Now, they have since, actually, at the time of this interview, which is the Virginia Horse Festival, the end of March of 2015, you're about 2 weeks away from the premiere of the movie, which is going to premiere in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the movie title is?
It's called Snowman.
Snowman, okay.
Yep.
And it premieres, the 9th, 10th, and 11th of April, something like that, right? 9th, 10th, 11th of April in Raleigh, all right? So I know we got people here watching that are going, oh, wow, it's coming up quick, right? But what about the movie? Were you involved in the making of the movie?
Yeah, they got my pictures on it, and they got my son's pictures, and they got Morris, George Morris is in it, and there is David Doubleday, he's the announcer, and he's in it, and they're all in it.
They're all in it. Well, Harry, now you originally are from Holland, right?
Yeah, I was in the war in Holland, and then one of the parachute troopers got killed in Holland, and we buried him, and my sisters put flowers on the grave and sent pictures to his mother. And she sponsored me to come to the United States.
Now, when did you come to the States?
1950.
1950 you came to the States. And I know it's no secret, but you just had a birthday, or you just have a birthday coming, and you're how old?
I'm going to be 88 years old in September 21st.
And you are still riding horses?
Still riding horses.
Yeah. And training and doing
everything.
I met you a couple of years ago when we were up at the Raceway here in Richmond, and we did an interview, and you were doing clinics there.
Oh, yes. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I did everything. Everything. And you see the young lady standing there?
Yeah.
She rides Snowy, the little champion.
Oh, wow.
He's leading the champion of Virginia.
Well, I'll tell you, it's quite a story about how you came here from Holland, how you found this horse by luck of the draw, so to speak, the $80 champion, and then the book all about how well you did. Now the movie premiere. So what are you going to do in the next 30 years?
I just try to stay alive.
That's the answer I was looking for, because you've been telling people as they visit the booth here, and I've been very pleased to have you in my Speaking of Horses booth this afternoon, but you've been telling people that as long as horses are in your life, you have got a smile on your face, so, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're going to keep those horses there, right?
I keep them there.
That's great.
And why you think one got the name Snowy? He's called after Snowman, and he's white.
There you go.
And the young girl, we were offered money yesterday. I said, I don't want to sell him.
Well, it's quite a story. I mean, you've done a fantastic job, with Snowman, your career in horses, and all of your career as you move through coming from Holland to the United States and everything you've done. And we're just really happy to have a chance to talk to you. And now with the movie, everything you've done is going to be logged right in. So, Harry, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, I want to thank every American give me the chance. I only 8 years in this country. I champion in Madison Square Garden.
Fantastic. Harry, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Right. And thank you all. Speaking of horses, Harry De Leyer, and what a story. Movie comes out in April of 2015. Go see it. Thank you.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Timeless fence systems, they're non-conductive, they're self-insulating, they're maintenance-free. Beyond that, they're very easy to install. They'll last for years and years. Timeless fence. Hey, we're here at Briarfest 2014, and right now we're back in the barn area. We are talking to Holly Armstrong, who has one of the guest or celebration horses here, and it's a beautiful saddlebred, Marcus. The actual name is Paddington's?
Mark of Distinction.
Mark of Distinction, or Marcus, it all fits, right? And of course, you're showcasing the beautiful animation for parade with that saddlebred. Tell us a little bit about Marcus.
Well, Marcus is a seven-year-old Pinot saddlebred. He stands about 17 hands, and he loves the crowd and a parade, and the louder you cheer, the more animated he gets.
Well, most saddlebreds are that way. They love the applause, they love that, and of course, in parade regalia, there's nothing that's more animated than a saddlebred. They just do a fantastic job at that.
I couldn't agree more.
So how's your time here at Briarfest?
It's been fun, overwhelming, an honor. Words can't even describe. Unbelievable experience.
Now, you're down from Howell, Michigan?
Correct.
Now, that's where in Michigan?
We're about middle of the mitten.
Middle of the mitten. Okay, all right. You gotta picture Michigan, right? Forget the UP.
Oh, right here.
So now, tell us a little bit about the Flowers saddles that you ride.
I have about 4 Ted Flowers parade sets, and I started collecting them probably about 12 years ago, and was fortunate enough to, I didn't start with the full-fledged silver Ted Flowers parade saddles, but I started with what I could afford, and then I just had the opportunity to purchase a full set, and then another, and then another, and then another. So I don't know all of the history about all of the saddles, but was my pleasure in meeting you and finding out that I have a saddle that I know a lot of the history about.
Yes, we were going to get into that. One of the saddle rigs that you bought was my father's, and he had that saddle put together in 1958, so I know the history. I know why the saddle is heavier than the others, because he actually, got his own saddle and then had Ted Flowers cover it. Now, the Flowers saddles, actually, most of these saddles go back prior to 1970, because Ted Flowers actually was not making them past maybe 1968, 69. Some of his kids carried on for a year or two, and that was the end of it. So they're all at least 44, 45 years old. The one that you have now that was my father's, that my dad rode up through 2003, and I had just sent a picture to Holly of my father on that saddle. Last time he rode it was '03 in the Indianapolis 500 parade. But
there was a couple distinctive pieces on the saddle is how we determined that it was your father's saddle.
Yeah, the minute that you mentioned the 50-cent pieces on the breast collar, I knew that's how he repaired that. I knew it immediately. So, and it gave me chills to find out that that rig is in your possession, and you're using part of it here at Briarfest, not all of it, but part of it. And I also know that it's going to be maintained and taken care of.
Absolutely, and loved and carried on onto my daughter for more paraders in my family down the line.
Well, you got to take care of the Flowers equipment, because it's all at least 45 years old, and it's not going to get any younger.
Correct.
And there's not going to be any more.
Correct. I couldn't agree more.
And it's if you didn't buy a Flowers saddle, the only other option for parade really was a Bolin, and with Ted Flowers using a Monell, a silver alloy, they were much more affordable than if you went to the pure silver Bolins.
Correct. Yes, definitely.
So a pure silver Bolin would run 100,000.
Easily,
Yeah.
And upwards. I mean, some are museum quality in the museums. So.
Yeah. Well, the Bolins were the ones that the Gene Autry's and the Roy Rogers and all the Hollywood people got the Bolins, and we had one gentleman that I used to ride with in Indianapolis that had a Bolin. And the problem with the Bolin, was you had to clean it about once a week, because it's pure silver. You couldn't let it set for a month.
Right. I think it's hard enough doing my saddle once a week.
Yeah.
Well, maybe every couple weeks, but not as extreme as the pure silver saddles.
But you have to stay on top of them, and you've got to stay on top of the leather, because without the leather, you don't have anything to hold the silver together.
Right. Typically, my saddles are all stored inside the house, but I travel year-round from April to November, parading around across the United States, and my saddles two of my saddles go with me, and it's tough. It's a lot to carry, a lot to keep up, and just last night in the arena we had a little breakage of equipment.
Oh, you did? I didn't see that. Aha.
We have a little repair to do today.
I've had to do that on the fly too.
Yeah.
I will tell you one other thing about that saddle. It was in the Rose Parade one year.
That is awesome. That is my dream, to someday be able to ride in the Rose Bowl Parade.
Well, I did it with my father. We rode together in the Rose Parade, and so that rig that you have now was there, and that was January 1st, 1979. I'm giving my age away now.
Wow. I would have been 9 then. I gave my age away too.
Well, I was out there riding. I was a little older than 9, but it was January 1, 1979. And so it has been in the Rose Parade also.
That is phenomenal.
Well, we're going to show some film now of you in the arena, a little bit of you in action with Marcus.
Okay.
And we're also going to show a picture in just a moment of the rig. Not only I'm going to take a picture here of this up close, and then I've got some pictures of that saddle that was my father's that you now own too. So we're going to show some stuff, and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you so much, Wayne. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been a real pleasure, and I feel really good that I know where that saddle went.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
keep you up to date and posted, and it's an honor indeed. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, we're here at Briarfest with Speaking of Horses. Hi, this is Wayne Williams of Speaking of Horses, and we're proud to be partnering with Northwest Horse Source, bringing you videos about the horse industry through our association with this publication, Northwest Horse Source. So, let's watch our current video.
Well, here we are speaking of horses, and we are back in the barns at a Quest Fest. Now, Quest Fest is over. Rose Parade is yet to come.
Yes.
We're pleased to be talking here with Mr. Carson Cressley. Now, Carson was our Master of Ceremonies for Quest Fest, and you're going to be riding in the parade as well.
I am, yeah. I am riding with the Strips Miramar Saddlebreds. You can see one of them was behind me, but he's having his lunch now. And it's, you know, we get to ride these beautiful Bolin saddles. These are, you know, from the Hollywood glory days of Gene Autry and Dale Evans and Roy Rogers. So we get to dress like cowboys. We have fun outfits. We have, I think, the most beautiful horses in the parade, American Saddlebred horses. And it's just really, it's a fun piece of Americana that I get to be a part of every year.
And, you know, with Scripps Miramar Saddlebreds, I mean, that's absolutely the best out there. I mean, you're riding with the top group in the U.S., I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they have the most beautiful saddlebred horses and the perfect parade horses because they're spotted and we have this beautiful tack and they're high stepping and they're just naturally bright, beautiful horses, so it makes for a really great unit in the parade.
And, you know, people don't realize how much effort goes into between a Quest Fest and the parade. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work to this.
Yeah, there's, fortunately, I didn't have to do any of it. There is a lot of, this takes a lot of polishing and elbow grease to get all this tack immaculate. Horses are all clipped and bathed and groomed. They all get shipped around a big van from San Diego. They go back home again to rest before the parade, and we bring them all back in the really early morning hours of New Year's Day. And do this whole setup there and get ready for the parade. Right.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post water.
Welcome to the world of Orange Slow Feeder, the longest lasting, highest quality slow feed net in the world. We currently have 12 different sizes, and we have anywhere from a small trailer net clear up to a 6x6 round bale or a 4x4 8 square bale net. And you can contact us at orangeslowfeeder.com. We also have a Facebook page, and we're at Pinterest, and we'll be on Twitter soon.
All right, now let's go to Wisconsin, catch up with one of our trainers locally, who we've spent a lot of time with, Dan Grunwald, Training and Clinics.
Dan Grunwald from Dan Grunwald's Training and Clinics. Thank you for being with us today, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our topic about clipping. So just some basic steps to help you safely clip your horse, to keep you safe and your horse safe. So some of the stuff that I like to do before I bring the clippers out and bring the clipper out and try to get this horse to accept the clippers, I always believe on moving the horse's feet first. So rather than taking this clipper and having the horse scared of the clippers, then in that case the horse is already saying that he's going to back up or she's going to back up. So what I would rather do is, I know this horse, I'm thinking this horse might back up or might get scared or toss his head or whatever it might be. So something I do, and I can do it in stages. Before you use a clipper, maybe I want to just use a plastic bag. It's actually a step below the clippers. Or maybe it's just a paper towel, to kind of get that horse used to that stuff. But whatever you do, the biggest thing to remember is to move the horse's feet before you bring the clipper. So I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit about how I take to initializing the first step. Very important too is giving your horse breaks in between the clipping. Don't try to get both ears done in the 10 minutes that you're trying to clip. Maybe ask for a couple minutes, but then go ahead and give your horse a break. We need breaks, and I really believe the horse needs breaks also. So we're going to go ahead and start up on the ears and maybe the bridle path. So something I'm going to do is I'm going to back her up, and I'm going to go ahead and spin her a couple times, and I'm going to pull her toward me. And the reason why I'm pulling her toward me is because I don't want to affect the getting on later when I get on this 3-year-old for breaking her out and training her. So right now she's just saying, Dan, I just want to stop. So I'll bring her around one more time. I might back her up one more time. I'll turn my clippers on as I'm moving her, but be very, very cautious that you don't get her with the side of the clipper. So I'll go ahead and I'll ask, and maybe I'll just go on the bridle path. And this is a 3-year-old mare that we've spent some time with, but now if she goes to pull it away, don't get in a huge fight with her. So right now she's doing good. Shut it off, give her a break. Once again, now I'm thinking she might move. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin her one more time. But most of the time, when the horse goofs up, then we get after them. It's just like when the horse paws on a, when we have them tied to the wall or tied to the trailer, they go to pawn. Well then we go say knock it off. Well, it's too late because the bad action's out already. So it's very important, like I said, that I know in my mind if I'm going to clip this horse today, that I need to move her feet and move her mind to the point where she says, Dan, I just want to stand. Whoa, oh girl, oh girl. So we're going to go ahead and try a little bit of the ear here. And I touch them with my finger first so the vibration will go through my finger onto her. I don't initialize contact with the blade right away. So you'll see me kind of rub them on the ear. I'll take a swipe, clip, clip. Good. And if they're doing good, like I said, definitely give them a break. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of ideas on some of the steps that we do to make you safe and to make your horse safe. So thank you again for joining us. My name is Dan Grunwald.
Hi everybody, this is Teresa with Equestrian Safe, and I hope everybody's doing well. I want to prepare you though for emergencies and evacuations, but I also want to explain a couple of things about our multi-purpose collar. We get a lot of questions about why do we need a collar for our horses. There's a lot of different reasons. People that like to go camping enjoy our multi-purpose collar because we have a reflector stripe on it. So in the middle of the night, if for any reason you need to get up and check and see if your horses are still in their electric fence or in their corrals, you can at least put a flashlight on them and make sure that they're still there. The identification pocket is really, really important to me. With fires and emergencies and evacuations, floods, hurricanes and all of that, you also want to have identification on your horse. So you can see your horse with this collar and you can put identification on it as well. This pocket opens up, this little white insert pulls out. You can use a label maker, you can use a Sharpie, you can use a piece of paper, and you can just put your information in there. So if your horse does get out, get loose, let's say some person comes through and takes out your fences and your horses happen to be in pasture, then at least if they get on the road they can be seen and they've got identification so people know where they get returned to. I've had people tell me that during hurricane season they've had their horses back in 2 to 3 hours because of our multi-purpose collar, where other people, it may have taken them 4, 5, 6 days to do that. Now, the other thing that people ask is it breakaway? Yes, it has 100 pounds of pull away pressure. It's double closure Velcro, just like our fly mask. So simple to put on, simple to take off, but yet strong enough to stay on during an emergency. And some people use these as a catch collar. I don't suggest that you leave these on 24/7, 365, but they're really good in an emergency situation. Maybe you're at a show or something like that, where you want to identify your horse. Let's say your horse gets cast, or it gets colicky during a show situation. At least with this, you've got information on it so somebody can call you right away and say your horse is in distress. Please come back to the barns. So that's our multi-purpose collar, and I just wanted to give you some little bit of explanation. The other one that people always ask us about are our reflective bands. These are our 2-inch reflective bands. Now these can be seen up to 1/4 of a mile. The reason that these are different is number one, they're on webbing. Okay, so they're not going to heat up your horse's legs. This webbing is designed to float around your horse's leg. What you want to do is when you put these on, it's also double closure Velcro, is when you put it on, it's going to create a bracelet-like effect around your horse. So this is our standard size, basically, and it's going to float around your horse's leg up above the fetlock joint, so it can be seen in action when you happen to be out late in the afternoon or early evening hours. Now, people ask us what's different about these. Number one, like I said, they're made of webbing, so they're not going to heat up your horse's leg like a ½ inch of felt. Number two, you may or may not be able to see this, but there's this extra little part of the Velcro that we've put on the end. Now, why did I do that, you might ask? Because when I originally designed these, we put silver to silver, and I had every one of them pop up halfway. Now, they didn't come off, but they did pop up halfway, and I didn't like that advantage or disadvantage to these. So just with this little additional Velcro, it tucks down in under the other silver webbing, gives you additional security so that they don't pull away. The other thing that people ask me about our reflective leg bands is, can they go through water? Yes, they can go through water, muck, mud, sticks, rocks, forest, anything that you can. These are not going to rip, they're not going to tear. They hold up very, very well. I've got people riding in the desert, I've got people riding in mud and muck all over the place, and up in the mountains as well. So they do hold up very well. What I tell you, people, is wash them, hand wash them when you're washing down your horse. Hang them to dry. Whatever you do, don't ever put them in a washer or dryer, okay? So those are just two of our wonderful products. They're made here in the USA. My husband and I actually sew all these products and make them ourselves. Yes, we sit behind the sewing machine. But these are American-made products that we do make ourselves, we've designed, and we've come up with. So I just want you all to be safe. It's springtime, so if you're looking for a product that's going to keep you safe while you're out riding at dusk or late in the afternoon, check into our 2-inch leg bands, our reflective leg bands, and check into our multi-purpose identification collar for any time you're traveling, transporting, or during show season as well as emergencies and evacuations. Hope you all have a great day.
And that's EquestraSafe.com.
EquestraSafe.com.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
Well, that's just a look at a few of our favorite interviews over the past few years. Thanks for joining us right here on Speaking of Horses. See you next time.